So, everybody, every separated self in the world, every character, every avatar, as we say, is in a subject-object relationship to everything, even to itself, right? Because it's self-referential. So, you know, the character of you, or some might say the egoic mind, is always, always me and that, me and them, me and my cat, me and my eyeliner, me and my computer, me and you, right? So there's definitely duality there, but it's subject-object always, and it's always self-referential to yourself, to your character, That's more precise. So it's self-referential to your character, right? So, like I say all the time, it's like everybody is walking around and they're all tuned into, now, this is just, we're laying the groundwork here. There is no right and no wrong, as if you follow me. There's never a right, there's never a wrong. No. And so, hello, Grace. So it's self-referential. So most characters that are running around the world are on one radio station. Remember radio stations? Does anyone here remember a radio? I grew up with radios. Does anybody here remember radios? Anyway, there used to be this thing called radios. And you had to dial in. And you had to find the perfect station. There was AM and there was FM. Now we just have www, right? So there was AM and there's FM, right? And so all of the stations had call letters, like WKHJ. That's one of the first ones that I listened to in Burbank, California when I was a little kid. Whatever. K-Rock, K-Earth. There's a whole bunch of them. Anyway, but it's it's WK-Rock or whatever. So the separated self listens to one station, and that is WIIFM. What does that stand for? WIIFM. What's in it for me? WIIFM. What's in it for me? That make sense? So the separated self is always self-referential. Me. And no matter how much you want to be magnanimous and helpful and everything, it's still in relationship to you. Capiche? Right? So today we're going to talk about you, so all of your egos will be very happy. But I want to talk about what we often don't think about, unless you're a parent. Not all parents, I guess, but unless you're a good parent. You don't really think about this. But I feel like in the illusion where we're all in this together, sorry, to put some chapstick on, that we have to start to think about, we don't have to do anything, but we're invited to think about how we are influencing others. What are we doing to influence others? It's not about, and it is about you, because it's about you, but it's not about you. Everything's about you, but it's not about you, understand? So I want to talk about how you influence the world. And when I say the world, I mean the dream state. I mean other dreamers. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Because I just want to make a distinction if you're new here. There is an illusory world, and then there's the truth. Now, well, there's the truth, whatever, it doesn't matter. So we're talking about the illusory world here. So let's talk about influence and how you're influencing those around you. In fact, it is part of my book that's going to be coming out pretty soon. Well, the relaunch of my book. And I thought it was really important to put this in because I saw so many people on their spiritual path. There's nothing wrong with this, what I'm going to say right now. All focusing on their development, their personality, their thing. And a lot of times they're not thinking about how their thing is affecting other people. And it is. It is. You all know that when you walk into a room and somebody's like, oh my God, who are they? Whatever happens to be, or in a good or bad way. So I want to read you a little bit of this. So it's possible that you may have no idea how much you're really affecting people. What you do, what you say, and what you be are being watched. And they're being listened to. Not to make you paranoid or anything. Whether you're aware of it or not, your words and actions, and most importantly, your intentions will uplift, praise, encourage, enlighten, affirm, or condemn, limit, and judge others. There is no neutral ground when it comes to energy. Your conscious or unconscious attitudes, feelings, and actions are always in the illusion, either negative or positive. So you don't even really know that, right? This is one of the reasons why, I just want to say this really quickly, why will benefit the whole world when you heal yourself. When you heal yourself, then everyone, it's like, what's that stupid phrase that people use all the time on being an asshole? One boat lifts the tide lifts all boats, or something like that, right? Like that. Is that right? The tide lifts all boats. Is that what it is? Anyway, say yes if that's what it is. So one person, when you're responsible for your healing, everybody is going to be affected. Especially those in your immediate. Rising tide lifts all boats. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Lauren. Thank you very much, Carol. So rising tide lifts all boats. Okay? So that's why it's not important, but it's an option for us all to do what we can to deal with our shit, to deal with our baggage, right? Okay? So parents know this. If they're aware parents, they know the adage, do what I say, not what I do. They say this because they're more than aware that their children are watching them all the time. And if there's any discrepancy in what they do versus what they say, the kid will always call them out on it. Does anyone here have that experience? When a kid will call, or if you were the kid and you look at your parents, you're like, you told me that you shouldn't do that, and now you're doing it. Has that ever happened to you? I think every parent has said that. Every parent has said that, right? So the same idea goes for how you're affecting others beyond your family. It applies to your workplace and your social interactions. What I found is that most people have a skewed view of how they affect others. Listen to this. This is important. Either they think they have far more effect than they actually do, or they think they don't really have any effect on others. But those both are misperceptions because they come from a warped point of view of the self that is from the ego. Remember I was talking about this? As A Course in Miracles says, we're all special and no one is special. The fact is that you're always influencing others. And whether you're aware of it or not, this comes back to the concept that at our core, we are all one. Like I just said, we're all one. We're all connected here. There is no you. There is no me. There's only one going on here. And so in order to start to kind of get this, you're invited to say, how are my actions and deeds and thoughts and unconsciousness affecting those around me, especially just starting you only have to take, this is a big concept, now a good concept too, only take care of your garden. You don't need to go save the world. That's not your job. Take care of your garden, your family, your workplace, your whatever it is. That doesn't matter. Well, you're not here to change them anyway, so don't think that. You're only here to do your work. That's all you're here to do. Truly. And so this is not just in public where others can observe your behaviors. This is really interesting, and this is also can be quite confronting. Although it's very direct reflection of how you're affecting them, but it's also when you're alone and thinking certain thoughts and having certain feelings which send out a very specific vibration to about others and about yourself and the world. You know, they say that the universe has 1,000 eyes. That's what the Torah, I think the Torah says that. The universe has 1,000 eyes. This is what it's talking about. It's not that God is watching you and waiting for you to do the right thing. No, that is a whole bunch of malarkey. This means that vibrationally, everything you're thinking and feeling is registered and given back in the form of an experience in your life. Not to mention how you're affecting others' lives. This is big, really. It's actually very big. It's taking full responsibility, right? And the word responsible, sometimes it's like, oh shit, responsibility, oh. But what I want to say is there's a little reframe here. You can think of responsibility as just as your ability to respond. You have an ability to respond differently. You can do something differently. Your character can do something differently. Sandy says, I grew up with malarkey. A lot of people did. A lot of people are in malarkey right now, if you know what I mean. So we're all on this journey together. This is a concept that applies here. If we're willing to transform your life for the better, you need to be willing to also see, feel, and take conscious responsibility for your part in the whole. As I say, no man is an island. So to transform yourself, become more aware of what you are thinking, doing, and being is affecting others. If you're affecting others, if you are affecting others, does not feel the best that you can be or supportive in some way, make a conscious effort to change it. This will serve not only yourself, but the other person and people around you, and it will in turn serve the whole. So say yes if you will make a conscious effort to be aware of how you're affecting others in your thoughts, words, and your deeds. This is a big topic, really. It's actually really, and you know what I have to say, like, since I wrote that's 10 years ago, like, the world has also become much more global, but it also at the same time has become much more insular. So it's like my thoughts, my opinions, my group, and this is what, of course, social media and computers, or not computers, but social media is doing to us when we're on it. It's putting you in that box. It's putting you in that bubble. It's keeping you seeing only the things that you want to see instead of seeing the world, instead of seeing the truth of what's really going on. You're seeing a very warped and having an experience that's very warped. Even you being here on Insight Timer is part of that, right? So we have an advantage to be aware right now. Do what you say what you do. So if anything today, and then we're going to open it up for the last few minutes. If anything today, if you're new here or if you've been here for a while, that hopefully this talk has made you think about, you know what? Maybe that judgment thought, maybe that condemning thought, maybe I should back off from that for a little while, see what happens. And even to the point of the actions that you do in the world. I'm going to say something really cheesy and really, so obvious. How much do you really give in the world? How much time do you give over and above what you have to do in your life? Right? How many, just randomly, have you worked at a community garden? Have you gone to help homeless people? Have you donated things? Have you worked in a kitchen? Have you gone to visit old people that have no one to go sit with some old people and just read and just talk? My dad is elderly, and we were he was getting out of the hospital last year, and the people that were there, the nurses and everything, they were like, oh my God, your family is amazing. I mean, this isn't about me. Your family is amazing. My sister was there. I was there. And were very on top of it. And this nurse was like, she's like, you would not believe how many of these elderly people, they have children or they have families and they don't come to see them. They're all alone. They're all alone. That's a horrible thing. She pointed out to me, this woman that was walking by, and she said, see that lady? She said, she's being released today, and she's going to get in the elevator, and she has to go down and get a bus because her son will not pick her up. That's obviously a call for love. So how much you're influencing people. You just open your eyes for 2 seconds. In your own neighborhood, in your own world, there's somebody that needs you. They don't even might know that they need you, but they might need someone to help them take out the trash, to help them to do something. Some people are doing all this already, and they know how rewarding it is, because to give is to receive. And you become an influential person around you. The more you give, the more you are, if you're doing this from a healthy place, not from a guilt place, not from a sacrifice place, but just because literally it's the right thing to do. I'm telling you, the Course in Miracles says, the Son of God is generous out of self-interest. What does that mean? It means that when you give, if you're giving from the truth, you feel so good. It's the best thing ever. It's the best thing ever. And you don't think about how this makes you an influential person. And it does, because you walk around the world very different than when you're like, I'm working on my problems. I got a lot of problems, and I got to figure out my little problems, and I have to do everything to be spiritually awakened, and I have to sit and meditate for 25 hours a day, and then I have to go to my... There's nothing wrong with anything I'm talking about. But do you see? You see? Coming back to the beginning of our talk, people are on WIIFM. What's in it for me? So today is an invitation to see how you can be influential to the whole. All right, take a deep breath.